Hello and welcome to the FRAG channel. Today we're doing a video on Higurashi Go. That's what the 5th season of anime for the Higurashi series. Covers like a different side story. But anyway, joining me for this video today is a special guest, Jerry. Say hi.
Hello.
And of course, as I usually do, Ruben's with me as well.
Hey guys.
Okay. So I think to start, since we all have different experiences with the Higurashi series, just say how much you've seen, how much you've experienced till now. So, what's your experience with the Higurashi series, Jerry?
Okay, so I first discovered the series when I was on an edgy binge in high school. So I watched like the first 3 seasons back to back. And if there were any, I don't recall if there were any OVA series, but I remember I watched something else as well, sort of afterwards, to make sure I just finished the whole franchise. I've seen clips of the game, but I haven't played it myself.
The game? You mean the
The light novel,
visual novel?
visual novel, yeah.
Yeah. Um. So you said you watched the first 3 seasons. Doesn't the second season end the main story?
Wasn't there another season or something?
I know that there's more than. Well, I okay. So I'm of the mind that the first season covers like 70% of the source material, but then the second season like finishes everything. So I don't know what the third season is about, but yeah, maybe the third season is just like a slice of life. Is that what it is?
It might just have been the OVAs. I'm not
OVAs.
entirely sure. I do remember feeling really confused watching just the mainline series. I watched the first season and kind of ended on like, what did I just watch?
Yeah, the anime would definitely do that to you. Um,
It
anyway,
might have been, I might have just mistaken the OVAs, but yeah, I was just trying to cover all the grounds to make sure I knew what the hell was going on, and I finished
I don't
everything and
think.
I still wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
watching. Yeah, I'm not sure the anime would make it any better, to be honest. But yeah. So you're pretty experienced with the Higurashi series. Ruben, you don't have as much experience. How far does your involvement with the Higurashi series go?
I've watched Higurashi Go, and that's that's it.
And how? Yeah, well, we can talk about what you thought about getting into it from just Go later. Uh, for me and my experiences, I've seen the first season of the anime, but I've also played the original visual novels or the remakes on Steam, which is basically following the same story. Those take around like 120 hours to get through, so it's quite an investment, but it's definitely a good story and a lot better than the anime because, well, trying to fit like 120 hours worth of content into like a 24 episode season or 2 seasons worth of anime is just it doesn't work well. You miss a lot.
No. Just a
Um,
heads up, I realized what I thought was season 3 was just the OVA, the 5 episode OVA day.
okay,
So
yeah.
what
So
I watched
so
was the 2 seasons and then one, two, three, 4 different OVA series. I think I watched them all. I just don't remember it very well
it
because
probably
I
all
didn't know what was going on.
yeah, probably all like clumps together anyway. Because I don't think the anime does the visual novel justice. But yeah, those were my experiences with it, and now I've seen Go with Ruben and Jerry as well, and we're here to talk about what we thought about it. Um, so now that we know everyone's experiences, uh, I kn- actually let's just go over broadly. So Ruben, ha- how would you feel going into this? What was the show like for you? Just jumping in from the
Um,
5th season.
going going into it, I didn't expect anything because I didn't know what I was getting into. But after watching it, I think that we might have had to have added this to the Attack on Titan video.
Huh?
Really?
For
What?
Okay, so what he's talking
our
about is
hardcore fans.
we made a video on Attack on Titan because Ruben actually hates Attack on Titan, or he doesn't like it. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, he slept on it. Apparently, it was so boring he just slept in the middle of it.
I
Uh,
see.
Well, I mean, it wasn't that boring, Higurashi, but it's like it wasn't captivating.
I mean, you had no idea what was going on.
People were done. It reset. It was
I
Groundhog Day, anime version.
I tried to get Ruben to do the visual, but like asking someone to dedicate 120 hours just it's not going to come that easily.
I mean, the main twists straight up don't work for you because
Yeah, he didn't even see the
from
original anime first season and second, so he doesn't even know anything about the characters.
just to check, we're allowed to just spat spoilers all over this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the fact that you start off with Keiichi as your point of view and then go to Rika is pretty stock standard for Higurashi. But the fact that Satoko's in the middle of it is a massive reveal for people who know the series, and it means nothing to you.
I'm pretty sure if I watched the whole thing, it still would have meant nothing to me.
Hey, fair enough. If you don't like it, I mean,
I didn't hate it. It was kind of like it passes the time. Kind of like Kuroko basketball.
I mean, to be fair, when I enjoyed this, I was like just coming off of watching like Elfen Lied and Gantz, and I was going on this massive like gore binge.
Oh,
So
okay.
I
Yeah.
appreciated it in ways that I otherwise would not have.
This was an anime that came out around that like edgy anime time, wasn't it?
I think everything was just edgy back then. I don't think it
Well,
was
I
just
feel like
this.
back then there were also a lot of other edgy things coming out. Was Tokyo Ghoul coming out around that time as well?
During Higurashi. No,
Around the
Tokyo
time
Ghoul
when
was like,
Higurashi Anime was happening. Yeah,
no, I think Tokyo Ghoul was way after.
way after. Hmm.
Because I remember by the time I got into Higurashi, which was sometime mid high school, I think I think Tokyo Ghoul was becoming a thing. Because I was reading the manga back then, and it was being serialized. So I'm pretty sure it came out way before.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I just got that wrong. Yeah. Yeah. I only really started anime like after I finished high school. Um. Yeah. So what did you think
Oh
about
yeah,
the perspectives changing all the time, Ruben? How was that for you? Was it weird? Were you like, what's happening? Were you confused about what was happening in the show?
Not really.
You just took it in strides. You're like, yep. So people are dying. Yeah.
It's Groundhog Day. What do you mean? It's just Groundhog Day from different perspectives.
So
no.
like
All that new what's his name? Andy Samberg movie where he keeps repeating the same day.
Groundhog. Wait, are you talking about Groundhog still?
No, there's been a couple of movies that have followed suit since then.
Yeah, there's. I mean, yeah, it's like the repeating, the or looping or repeating timeline trope is like been done before. Yeah. So it wasn't anything special to you. Detective Ruben wasn't like, I wonder what's happening.
I wasn't really captivated enough to start theory crafting, to be honest.
Oh, if you like
I
playing
mean,
detective, I have
like it.
recommendations.
Yeah, as much as it hurts, it makes sense, right? He, he's just gotten into the fifth season where it's technically like a sequel from the visual novel as well, and he doesn't know anything about the visual novel or the characters beforehand. So I'd say the experience is kind of like spoiled oddly for him.
Well, my strongest, like the only thing I can think of because you kept saying, "Who's the killer?" Like over the last few months, and I was just thinking the nurse because she's the only one who knew about the symptoms of whatever that town's called syndrome.
Well, yeah, actually,
I think it's called Hinamizawa.
Okay, that's the
yeah,
best town in the anime.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're supposed to think that because she's been the antagonist of so many previous series that, that's where old fans, their minds would immediately go, hence the subversion.
that's
I don't
what.
think the subversion was handled the most elegantly, but I mean, it worked, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought, well, Takano's motivations still exist, and the reasons for her wanting to you know, do the shit that she did and kill the people that she did. So why wouldn't she still be behind anything? But they took a really big turn with this one and introduced Satoko's motives, which are weird motives, but yeah. Um, yeah. Well, what did you think about it broadly, Jerry? Getting into it.
Well, I was watching it week by week, and I think that helped a lot because looking back, I feel like some of the twists and reveals, some of the pacing was a little abrupt. Um, but when I was watching it week by week, I just totally didn't notice it because it was like every week there is something new to new revelation to enjoy.
It was a very fun
So I
show
enjoyed
to
it.
watch every week, wasn't it? Because every week
Yeah,
something weird happened.
it was. I usually watch a few episodes of a series to figure out whether or not I like it early on in the season,
Yeah.
and I'll be trying a bunch of stuff. And I'll usually, if I like it, I'll hold it off until it's finished serializing and finished airing, and then just watch the whole thing. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think Higurashi was the only series that I felt like, oh, I should probably watch this weekly.
Yeah. So yeah, when I started getting into it, I thought it was a bit of a shit show, right? Like, you know, Ryokishi and how he's just writing these even more insane situations where people start killing each other. Like, what is happening? And the times where he's just like Rika's dying again and again and again. There's that time where she dies like 5 times in a row, like in such horrible ways, and I'm just like, bro, he
I mean, it was
he knows
advertising
what
the
he's
reboot,
doing. The
right?
shock value there and the trolling for for his fans.
Wasn't it
Uh,
because it was advertised initially as not a sequel, but
a remake.
a remake, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
he's a
think they were just trying to
troll.
go through
He
the
tricks
famous
people.
storylines.
Yeah. He, Yeah, and then all the weird killings happen, and like the different aspects which are completely different to the original visual novel, and the people are like, what is happening? And I just I applaud Ryokishi for his trolliness. I think that was just funny nonetheless as I was going through. But as the show went to the later parts near 20 episode mark, he started getting me in again with the feels. It's usually the feels in his work that gets me, or the emotions and stuff from the characters.
I feel like I was having trouble emotionally connecting with some of those characters, though.
Yeah, I'm not like I think Satoko's just in the wrong completely, but yeah,
I actually didn't think that way. First of all, can I just figure out who the hell Ryokishi as in the original author?
yes,
Right. Yeah. So with Satoko, I think it was. I actually prefer her over Rika.
How dare you?
in what way?
Because you know how she makes a comment, was it like the second last episode, where she's talking about how their approaches to dealing with the time loops and how they find their victory is totally different. It's, Rika gets away with things through her charm and stuff and rolling the dice on her luck. She just waits for a good
Uh,
opportunity and a good setup. Whereas Hatoko, she actively builds things to work in her advantage. She sets things up to work for her in her favor.
uh, kind. I sort of get what you're saying, but I think it's different because the difference between Rika and Satoko is Rika is like limited because she couldn't continue looping because Hanyu's power was weak. So the more she looped, the less time that they had till eventually, like I don't know, Hanyu would just disappear. Um, so
But she
Satoko,
was literally at it for centuries.
yeah, Satoko, she got her power from Ewa. I think that was her name,
Yeah,
and
but
yeah,
it's,
she could loop
it's still like she
infinitely.
had how many hundreds or thousands, or I have no idea
Who
how many.
Rika? Rika was looping
Yeah,
for 100 years, is what they're saying.
Yeah, she's there for over a century. I don't know how many cycles that is because I think they're there for a few
People
days.
speculate. No
But
one really knows.
but yet it shouldn't have taken that long. I think I feel
It
like she
shouldn't
was
have
kept.
taken that long to figure out the mystery. You think? A
It's
lot of
because
people have that same criticism for the original.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at like Yumineko, this is going kind of beyond the
No
Higurashi series, but
spoilers.
like
I've yet to play it. I want to play it.
ah, well, I won't go into too much detail, but I just feel like someone of her power and caliber and ability should have figured things out a bit earlier on. Like,
Yes,
you know,
I
the
agree.
first few rounds, you know, you're trying to get in motion, get used to things, like trying to figure out what the hell's going on. That's fair. Spending a century on the same 5 days or something, you know,
Yeah. There's a
that seems a bit wasteful.
yeah.
It's like at that point, it's on you, right?
There's I think it's less so Rika's fault, more so it's Hanyu's fault. There's a meme in the community that Hanyu's like a useless god because she's invisible to everyone else in the world and she could go and do anything she wants. And she loops with Rika and she wants to help Rika, but the entire time she's never like followed Takano the whole time to figure out that Takano's the bad guy.
Yeah, no, she just like sits around watching Rika drink.
Yeah. Um. So yeah,
Which
just
is a
she's
great
completely
picture of
useless.
a young girl drinking. But yeah, no, I just feel like at a certain point, you know, what I have an issue with Rika as is she has that arrogant personality of a really active character who, you know, she's tried everything, and which actually not to, you know, diss on her, she has tried a lot and she suffered a lot, but I feel like her how she approaches the time loops is super passive compared to Satoko.
She gives up. Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, she just sort of gives up on timelines really early on, um, which might be coming from experience, but I don't know. I mean, you
If
have that many opportunities to try something and you don't.
yeah, look, it makes sense to a degree because it's like you've died like what 50 times by this point. You've seen all your friends die around you, and it kind of like just you start feeling hopeless. You're like, what can I do? Especially when she's fighting Takano, who's got like a band of like CIA dudes working for her that are secretly killing people and stuff. It's like okay, that is kind of. But she's also got Hanyu on her side, and the fact that Hanyu never figured anything out earlier was just really weird.
I think we've clarified that Hanyu's a bit of an idiot.
Yeah,
That's not the point.
but you don't really like Rika's approach to
I liked
looping.
her back in high school because her tragic angst connected with me on levels I'd rather not admit. But as a character, like as a protagonist, I'm not even sure you can call her a protagonist, but as a protagonist in this story, I feel like she's way too passive.
Rika, you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
But she does say cute stuff.
Huh?
Fight on,
But
Naradesu.
yeah, she says cute stuff, so that's why she's way better. Like
Who?
Nipa, Rika.
Yeah,
I do
that's
love the moment. I do love the short moments when like the fact that she's 100 years old kind of influences what she says or her personality, and she freaks out everyone around her. That's pretty cool.
yeah. Moving on. What do okay? So I think Jerry, you see something with Satoko's motivations, right? So
Oh, she's insane. Absolutely.
you think she's crazy? Okay.
I love it. Yeah.
What about you, Ruben? What do you think about Satoko's motivations for killing?
I think they're justified.
Justified.
Nah. I mean, in her head at least.
And no
Yeah.
one's saying she isn't justified. I'm
I
still saying
mean,
she's
I'm saying
insane.
she's not justified.
Rika did decide to ditch her, even though she really didn't. But you know, I don't know. She's batshit, bro.
They're too dependent on each other, or well, at least Satoko is too dependent on Rika.
Yeah. Yeah, that
There's like not much to say on that topic. She's like completely batshit.
dude, I only bring this up because I know some people that are Satoko sympathizers. for some reason they're just like, yeah, I don't know the logic there, but like I just feel like Satoko is just completely wrong where she's coming from,
I
how
I
she's
kind of get
approaching
it.
it.
So
I can
Yeah,
understand her
but it's
frustrations,
I
but
extreme.
she doesn't
agree
even
with
kill
you.
people because of it, right? She doesn't. she,
Oh, that's true. She needs to kill people over it.
yeah, I'm just like Ryukishi's a pretty good writer. I'm wondering how he's going to write her out of this, right? Like so far, she's like the worst villain in Higurashi. She's even worse than Takano, in
Does
my
he have
opinion.
to like write out of this though? I feel like doesn't the story, if you look at the timeline of the story,
Mm?
the whole segment with Satoko happens before the beginning of the series, right? Beginning of Go.
No, it's a sequel. All of it happens after. Oh wait. Oh, you mean before? Yeah. So
Yeah. So
it
it's
so
like the
so
second half of the story, timeline wise, happens uh, first. So
yeah. The
if
first half is the
anything,
current, and then the second half is like before the current, and then
yeah. So like the second,
yeah,
if
we still
anything,
haven't
like the second
come
half
back
of
to the
the
current.
series, if the second half of the series is just being used to explain why the first half is happening, explain Satoko, then technically she wins, right?
Does she though?
Because halfway through the series, there's like she's like killing Rika over and over again, right? And it's
Mm,
revealed that Satoko's kind of behind everything.
yeah.
Not kind of, she's absolutely behind everything. But I recall there being an episode where Rika decides that she just sort of gives up and decides that Satoko is correct. Hinamizawa is the way to go. In which case, Satoko won because that's totally what she wanted, right? Or am I just
Yes.
remembering it
Yes.
wrong?
So that's interesting. So that's interesting that you say that.
So it's her
But
victory.
at the last point, they go and they like play at the river or something, and then afterwards, Satoko's like, "Don't you want to stay here? Like, why do you ever want to leave Hinamizawa?" And Rika's like, "You know what? You're right. Right? She's probably
Yeah, Rika
Satoko by
agrees
this
with
point.
her.
Yeah, Satoko by this point has probably looped like thousands, hundreds of thousands of times to get to this point, but she's finally found the one world where Rika's like, okay, yeah, let's be on your side. But
I don't
Rika's
think she
still.
was looping that many times
I think
because
she was because you remember when she was playing the card game, and in the card game, to win, she wants to win in one go. So she ends up repeating to make sure she gets every matched pair card, and that's not
I
even
don't
the.
think that would have resulted in hundreds of thousands of loops, maybe hundreds of loops, but not that
It
many
talks
hundreds
about
of
her.
thousands.
It talks about her personality, or like how she treats using the loops. She doesn't mind killing herself just for like a small thing like beating a card game in the first time. The second time as well that she does it, when she's figuring out the code for the briefcase to get the thing
Oh, I
that
forgot
gives
about
you,
the
yeah,
briefcase.
the L5 disease. So she sits there, fail, repeat, fail, repeat, and she just keeps looping. She doesn't care. She's not limited the
Yeah,
same
no,
way that
I
Rika
forgot about
is.
the briefcase, but
Yeah.
I thought it was less because I mean she was going a bit going a bit crazy with the loops, but earlier on, but at a very certain point she asks, what was her name? Au, the god?
Ewa, yeah.
Aoa, to return to Rika or like allow Rika to remember the loops. And then Rika starts counting. So I didn't think there were that many.
They skip a lot. They're not going to show you every
Right.
loop, but they skip a lot.
Yeah, right.
At least my interpretation is that she's looped a lot of times because she doesn't care. She's got infinite power, and that's her approach. Going back to like what her approach is. Her approach is that or I interpret her approach as I'm going like I'm just going to go crazy with this. I'm going to keep looping until I find that one. And she has no restrictions to stop her either, so she doesn't have to drag out a timeline to make sure that things go right as Rika had to. Um,
I agree with the loops, like her not caring about the loops, especially since she'd seen all of Rika's memories and the idea of time looping was like laissez-faire to her at that point. But I took it more as she was very actively using each loop to wear Rika down. So it wasn't like I'm gonna wait for that one opportunity, that one setup that is in my favor.
She.
But
Oh
I'm
yeah,
going to
yeah. You can
rather
wear her
I'm
down
going
that way.
to spend every loop screwing with Rika until she agrees with me. So she had a very definite end goal there, and it wasn't like reliant on luck.
Yeah, it wasn't luck, but she. I just feel like she was so carefree when she's using her powers. Um.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she saw all of Rika's memories. She probably doesn't think much of it.
Yeah. I guess. I guess not. So yeah, and then so Rika's on her side, right? And then she's like, okay, I'll stay in Hinamizawa. But Rika's also the fact that she made Rika remember the loops as well also made Rika very cautious. And she's like, well, could I still die again? Because Rika has no idea what's causing all the looping and the deaths. So that's when she starts investigating herself. And in that same loop where Rika is on Satoko's side and doing the thing that Satoko wants her to do, she also finds out that Satoko is the one that's been killing everyone till that point. So you see the
Does she
irony
though?
in that?
Does she though?
Yeah, she
Does she
does.
figure out
Yeah,
that
because
Satoko is
cause, cause
behind
she
it?
gives her the box and she opens it, and because or
Oh, I
she
don't remember the scene.
yeah, and then she like cowers when she sees the box because, but you'd only cower if you're a looper because you knew what the box does if you're a looper. So yeah, and then that's when she pulls out the gun. So yeah,
I don't remember the scene. It must be because of all the of
this is right
watching it weekly.
before we go into the flashbacks. So you know when it divulges into the second half where we go into what caused Satoko to do what she's doing.
Okay, I'll rewatch that bit.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So that's pretty ironic how the one loop where she manages to get her on her side, she also Rika's like, wait, it's you that's killing everyone. So that puts a spanner in the works. Um, Satoko. Yeah, so another thing. So I'm talking about, like, I feel like Satoko's just. Her motivations just seem really quite bizarre to me. And the way she. Her character, just as a human, doesn't seem very realistic to me either. So I
She
was
seems
talking about
pretty
how
one
she.
tracked, man.
Sorry?
The motivation seemed pretty one tracked.
Well, yeah. Well, Ruben.
Rika,
Well,
Rika.
well, you're the med student, Ruben. So tell me what you think about humans. All right, and in this sense, so Satoko's constantly looping, and she doesn't seem to have a care in the world. For the smallest mistakes, she'll just loop to fix it. So, like I mentioned with the card game, she wants to win in the first go. So she constantly loops until she gets every card to match to win and not let her opponents have a chance. When she's doing the figuring out the thing for the code for the briefcase, she one fuck up, she loops and does it again.
Yeah,
And
I know all that. There's
yeah,
there's
but
no professional. I got no professional interpretation of that.
well,
It's
no,
she's a psychopath.
I'll take your
She lacks
opinion for
sympathy.
it. But
I feel like I understand her, so I can't say that.
yeah, but the condition for her to loop is that she has to kill herself.
Yeah,
So every time that
but
she's like
she's not really killing herself.
that
Like
she is
that's one way to look at it. Maybe she's giving herself new life. That's another way to look at it.
okay, you haven't read the visual novels, I guess, because whenever you kill yourself, it's not like it's not like you feel the pain, and that's partly what makes Rika so depressed because she's constantly dying and she's constantly seeing everyone around her die all the time.
That was explained in the anime.
Yeah,
She doesn't care though, does she?
yeah. Well, Satoko kills herself for the smallest things. Like, oh shit, the cards didn't match. I'm just gonna kill myself now, and she does that for like 1,000 times till she gets it right. And then she does the same thing when she's doing the codes on the briefcase. So like does that sound like normal? Like for a human being, don't you
I
think
think
you
it
go
was
crazy?
clarified that she was
You-
insane, though, right?
you've got to. You're not really considering the fact that normal human beings don't have the power to loop.
And also, she thinks nothing of death. That was made pretty clear.
Yeah,
I
but
think the first time she ever killed herself, the fact that she didn't hesitate was kind of like, whoa. But
But she already had
afterwards,
she already
she
had
really
Rika's
came back.
memories. She already knew what was going to happen anyway.
not when she killed herself the first time.
I mean, she got informed that it was going to reset, didn't she?
She was told, but she also wasn't sure.
And I think the first time was like, wow, she really didn't hesitate there. But I think the subsequent times, she already had the assurance that she'd come back. So
Yeah, but like that doesn't change like having to kill you. Like it hurts, right? Like it's not like pain. Like at
Yeah, but
least
maybe
there are
losing in a game of cards hurts more to
yeah,
her.
like there's painless ways to kill yourself. I'm sure that exists, but like the ways that she kills herself aren't painless. She like jumps in front of a truck in one. Like I don't know what she does at the card game, but like I can't see her doing anything that's not painful when she kills herself all those times just to get the card game right. That aspect of her character, just from a human standpoint, doesn't seem very realistic to me. Why would anyone do that? That's not very human.
This is
Even
I
not
don't,
human.
I
even
don't
if
think
you're like a
Higurashi's a very, I don't think Higurashi's a very good case study for the human psyche.
yeah,
Probably.
but the thing about Higurashi is I think it's the most one of the most realistic series I've seen in terms of the human psyche, at least. There's a lot of emotions and psychological elements that go into each character, and especially in the visual novel, you start to see that with each character as well. Um, but her character just yeah, that's why I'm interested to see what Ryukishi's gonna do in the second season to uh, you know make her seem like okay.
Well, ask the creator for an MRI of her brain, and then we can go from there.
Well, he's pretty good with the community. He likes to answer a lot of questions. Maybe you can ask him, Ruben.
I'll be okay. This seems like a bit too much.
Okay. We're dragging on a bit.
But yeah, I don't think you should try and diagnose normal human behavior with someone who's consciously aware that they can lose. From episode one, from for me, just coming into it, the first thing you realize about Satoko is that she hates losing. So
So you're
maybe that
saying
pain
that
is worse
the,
worse than
intro-
death.
the introduction of the concept of looping to a human will fundamentally change their psychology to a
Yeah.
point where pain just I guess there's merit to what you say. I can see the merit in that. But yeah, it's just a little bit weird to me, at least for the smallest things like not getting the matching pair in a card game.
I'm not going to argue there. I just feel like she is justified in what she does, not in a good way, but she has her own justification, and she's just
Yeah,
doing what
I
she.
agree. She has a she has a justifications at least, and that's what made it a bit more interesting when we got to the second half and discovering that justification. Also, Tepe turning into a good guy, that was weird.
That was unexpected. But yeah, I think the card game just kind of reflects that she has this massive obsession with failure, not failing. Because I mean, she's always had like a determined streak for winning, but
She's good at drive, man. I'll give her that much. Yeah,
Tepe was really weird. Tepe was
Tepe.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I kid.
Tepe was one of
He's
those
a cop.
characters
Is he
which
a cop?
no, it's Satsuko's uncle.
Oh, he was always a good guy.
No, he wasn't. He was a horrible
Yeah, no. Just
character.
He was an
leave it.
outstanding gentleman.
Yeah, he was
They
the kind
don't
of
come with
character that people in the visual novel were like, dude, this guy's unforgivable. But come go, Ryukishi again with his antics, just turns him into a likable character, even more likable than Satoko at this point. I think
Uh,
Satoko's the probably one of the worst villains in the series at the moment.
I
In
like
my opinion.
Sadako. Except for a laugh.
And it's weird because it originally going from the normal route, it's so tragic, dude. Her story, but yeah,
I prefer Satoko because I felt like Takano felt more like a final boss, and I feel like Satoko feels more like, I'm you, you are me, duality kind of villain and protagonist relationship, which I prefer.
Takano was a what? An I'm you, you are me.
No, it was like Satoko and Nika have so much in common that when they're when they're fighting against each other, I feel like it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But Takano kind of felt like the final boss in a video game,
Mm. All
and
right. Well,
I thought her backstory was also not that tragic.
Takano's.
Yeah,
It was.
she kind of went off the rails real fast, considering what she's been through.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with her backstory personally, but yeah. Anyway, this video has been going on for a while. Is there anything that anyone else has to add, like that you want to share about what you thought about the series or anything before we end off?
Nipa.
Do you want to go first, Ruben?
Oh, I was done. I just wanted to say Nipa. It's fun to say.
Nipa. I thought it was really cute and I enjoyed it.
You thought it was a
And I'm
cute
trying
show.
not. And I thought it was really cute. Not very scary, but very cute, and better enjoyed when you don't overanalyze it. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was definitely more so there for just the rides that Ryokishi put the community through. Yep, but that's been this video, and if anyone did like it, feel free to leave a like. If you didn't like it, feel free to leave a dislike. Tell us why you liked it. Tell us why you didn't like it. We're open to criticism here. But that's been this video. We'll probably do one on Higura on the next season coming up in June or July, sometime there, probably. So yeah, if you like this, look forward to that one coming up as well. But that's been us for now. See ya.